Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Junjo Emperor's voice sounded like the clashing of metal. The universe ocean of today is much stronger than before. This was because of the emergence of the fourth most dangerous land, the world of Jin. The world of Jin was a world left behind by the ancient civilization. It is where many living souls, true gods, and even higher existences of the ancient civilization could be found. The inheritance of the ancient civilization, and automaton-type treasures, all could be found in abundance in the world of Jin. The various groups of top powers from Universe Ocean have penetrated deep within the world of Jin to hone their skills and gain treasures. Their powers have improved tremendously. And among them, we need to be extremely careful of Milky Way Horde Leader Luo Feng. Milky Way Horde Leader Luo Feng. The Sector Beast looked down at the two true gods and asked, "This Milky Way Horde leader. What do we know about his background?" "He is a great being from the human race of the primal universe era, and he is a universe master," Junjo Emperor said. "Ha ha ha. A universe master. Such fragile food, you all want me to be wary of him." The Sector Beast burst out laughing. There was no reason for him not to laugh. He was a Sector Beast. A super life form bred by Universe Ocean. Even though he was currently only in his growth period, which was the true god stage, his power was certainly not lower than that of a universe master. Dragon Rock Ancestral God replied right away, "My dear respected Emperor, you must never, ever underestimate this Milky Way Horde leader." Previously, when the world of Jin had yet to appear, Great Thunder Star Master had already perished at his hands. Great Thunder was killed by him. The Sector Beast grew more wary and paid more consideration now. Unable to resist the temptation, the three true gods had decided to seek refuge with the Sector Beasts, yet they themselves were actually quite highly skilled individuals. A universe master who could kill a true god. And that was when he had just entered world of Jin. It was said that he had an extremely great encounter, Dragon Rock Ancestral God said in a hoarse voice. He once annihilated a few hundred universe masters from the United Forces Alliance and the Purple Moon Holy Land all at once, within a fleeting moment. There was no evidence, but later on, during the trillionth era, when there was provocation raised against the humans within the primal universe, all the advocators were ruthlessly punished by the humans. The various groups of top powers were all of one mind. Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng wielded great authority within the world of Jin. Dragon Rock Ancestral God went on to say, and the willpower of the primal universe origin also leaked out this information. Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng was a number one master of Universe Ocean. Sector Beast was greatly appalled. He is just a universe master. How can he be the number one master of your Universe Ocean? This is acknowledged by all, said Dragon Rock Ancestral God. Over the past trillion eras, he made multiple strikes, and every time he made a move, he always gained an absolute edge over everything that dared to provoke him by keeping them suppressed. Because he was so powerful, neither of us dared to venture into the world of Jin. Now, he is only a universe master. When he becomes a true god, he will certainly be a more horrifying figure. My dear respected Emperor, if you can exterminate him, then in the whole of Universe Ocean, there will truly be no one who can stand in your way anymore. Sector Beast fell silent. In the beginning, he had shown indifference and had placed no importance on this figure, but now, the name was etched in his memory, Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. Number one master of the Universe Ocean. Is that so? Sector Beast said to himself. I, Morosa, shall not confront you head-on. I shall first feed myself well with delicious food, and when my powers become stronger, I will come and see for myself just how powerful you are. See if you are more powerful than Betty. At this moment, this sector beast, Morosa, had already set Luo Feng, a being whom he had never met before, as an opponent second only to Betty. And Betty was the greatest opponent he'd had to face in order to become the ultimate king. As for Luo Feng, he was the greatest obstacle hindering the sector beast from feeding on all the delicious fare it craved as he rampaged through Universe Ocean. First, I will kill and eat this dish called Milky Way. Then I will eat everything I can find within Universe Ocean and return here. Betty, if I come back to see that you are already killed by other sector beasts, I will be so disappointed. The sector beast, Morosa, looked down at the two true gods. Tell me about the map of Universe Ocean. After a long time, having gathered enough information, sector beast Morosa now had a detailed understanding of Universe Ocean. Finally, he left the land of darkness, the nest of the sector beasts, and set off for Universe Ocean alone. Primal Universe. Amidst the vast, starry sky, a man in a white robe appeared and walked through the darkness of space. He headed straight for a red-hot star, a star that was already headed toward the end of the path. Within the star, blazing flames surrounded the core. But this core, on the contrary, exuded an endless coldness. A damaged ship was floating amidst the blazing flames, and the cold air kept all those flames away. An elderly man sat cross-legged, unmoving. In his hand was a stone. This stone had been smoothed by his persistent touch. Teacher. The man in white robe walked amidst the flames, and soon approached this end of the ship from afar. Neither the flames nor the cold air had any influence on him at all. The elderly man opened his eyes and looked at Luo Feng. Going to the sector beast's nest. Aha. Luo Feng nodded. At this point, the great beings of Universe Ocean have mostly reached our limits. Even if we are given another trillion eras, it will still be difficult for us to increase our powers. Yet the sector beast's powers are consistently on the rise. We feel that we should not delay further. This time, my Mosha body will lead a small team over to briefly look into the situation and uncover more facts. Then we can better formulate our plan of action. Luo Feng also sat down, cross-legged, far across sitting mountain guest. Teacher, previously you told me to call on you before heading over. Luo Feng had always felt as though teacher sitting mountain guest hid himself behind a veil. Therefore, Luo Feng had never truly been able to see him clearly. First, I need to tell you something, sitting mountain guest said directly. Regarding some of the information that the willpower of the primal universe origin openly revealed with the help of the three ancestral gods. Part of it was true, but there are some parts that are not true. For instance, saying that the universe boat was created for the sake of dealing with the sector beasts. That is an absolute joke. Luo Feng was struck by a sudden thought. Teacher, you mean to say, the words of the willpower of the primal universe origin are not credible? No, sitting mountain guest replied. Killing a sector beast is certainly good for you all. The existence of sector beasts is mainly for the purpose of destroying. They are capable of destroying all kinds of miniature universes. So, of course, it would be right for you all to get rid of them in their early stages. Luo Feng frowned. Then, teacher, what you mean to say is, I want to tell you that, first off, this sector beast is an incomparably terrifying life form that the Universe Ocean gave birth to, sitting mountain guest said in a most solemn tone. Truly, it is terrifying. Within the entire Universe Ocean, there is one primal universe, and the sector beast takes up an opposing role against it. As for you countless life forms, you are all merely the byproducts of what the Universe Ocean bred. Speaking of the nobility of this life form alone, who can hold a candle to it? Luo Feng could not help but nod to indicate his agreement. Such a life form was, undeniably, highly noble. Of course, I am specifically referring to the final survivor after 1 billion sector beasts fight one another to death, Sitting Mountain Guest said. This last one standing is the truly incomparably noble yet terrifying one. For now, there are still many of them, so the threat posed by one of them will not be great enough to eliminate your ability to resist. Also, this sector beast, as noble as it is naturally endowed with immeasurably high intelligence. Do you know, within the universe ocean, what is the least threatening to the sector beast? Luo Feng was filled with doubts. Least threatening? The primal universe. Sitting Mountain Guest laughed. The primal universe is almost harmless to the sector beast. Teacher, do you mean? Luo Feng's eyes lit up. He seemed to have an inkling about what his teacher meant. Sitting Mountain Guest laughed out loud as he said, when a sector beast attacks any miniature universe, it will definitely be met with retaliation. Regardless of whether it is the two holy lands, or the various miniature universes, any attack made would arouse a frenzied retaliation from a large number of great beings. However, when it attacks the primal universe by itself is simply incapable of any form of resistance. It may have bred countless lives, and it may seem to possess an endless power, but it is unable to initiate attacks. Therefore, it could only passively withstand all the devouring by the sector beast. The primal universe origin is said to be vast and endless. Even if the sector beast feeds to its heart's content, or even until it is stuffed to death, it will never devour all of it. To a certain degree, the primal universe will still undergo self-destruction to return back to its origin, during which the sector beast will not be able to attack. However, the change between the birth and destruction of the primal universe is under the control of intangible rules. It cannot be destroyed at will. Before destroying it, a sector beast will devour as much of the primal universe origin as possible, causing fundamental damage. If all of you great beings combine your strength to create a form of deterrence, these sector beasts may give up on you for the time being and refocus all their attention on specifically dealing with the primal universe. After all, that is the greatest meal they could ever have. Luo Feng's eyes brightened further, as he gained an understanding of what teacher was saying. This is why, Sitting Mountain Guest said with a laugh, the willpower of the primal universe origin told a lie. There were faint tremors in the surrounding space. A strong, oppressive force was spreading out, rocking and shaking everything in the surroundings. Luo Feng looked around. The flames of the star that were surrounding the broken ship were becoming distorted as they tremored. It was as though they would be extinguished at any moment. No need to worry, Sitting Mountain Guest laughed. The willpower of the primal universe origin has to adhere to the most fundamental universe laws. So long as you do not challenge any of those laws, it will not be able to do you any harm. It can only rely on help from other great beings. But within the universe, who could be your match? Luo Feng shook his head. If this was said before the other great beings, I could just brush it off. But before teacher, I am not that confident. No, Sitting Mountain Guest shook his head. The willpower of the primal universe origin is not wrong in saying so. You are, indeed, number one in universe ocean. Regarding the sector beast, the willpower of the primal universe origin is lying because it wants you all to go out there to fight and kill. Actually, to the high and mighty willpower of the primal universe origin, whether or not all of you survive, does it really matter? It can always breed generations of reincarnation eras. Life and death were originally part and parcel of the development of nature. It is not the least bit concerned about your life and death. To it, its origin is of the utmost importance. After all, the moment its origin is injured, it might never be able to recover even after countless reincarnation eras. This is why you should not act as its weapon of choice so easily. You must learn how to reap some benefits from it. Benefits? Luo Feng frowned. The willpower of origin has given its promise, inheritance, treasures, or even the release of teacher origin. Everything is possible. Those are no benefits at all. Sitting Mountain Guest shook his head. Treasures and all. To the willpower of the origin, these are merely some of the countless treasures left behind since long ago. It has no use for them, so it was randomly tossing some over to you. As for releasing teacher origin, that poses no threat to it at all. That's why it was willing to do so. Luo Feng quickly asked, then what benefit should I ask for? The greatest benefit, Sitting Mountain Guest said in a most solemn manner. Combining one's consciousness with the primal universe origin. By doing so, one can personally experience what it is like when the primal universe undergoes a cycle of destruction and renaissance. First, you destroy the primal universe. Then you let the primal universe undergo rebirth. Combining one's consciousness with the primal universe origin, gasped Luo Feng. To personally experience destruction and renaissance. Luo Feng was taken aback. The very notion was incredible. No miniature universes can compare with the original universe, and not even the world of Jin can compare with the original universe. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng. Every one era of the original universe contains the ultimate mystery. Even if I want to get into the origin, the original universe won't let me do that. It would rather let teacher origin go than let you get the opportunities. However, between the threat of the sector beasts and giving you a great opportunity, I think it will make the best choice. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng. Actually, I envy you, but there's nothing I can do. Luo Feng was confused. He could sense that Sitting Mountain Guest meant to say something else. The accomplishments he had now, and the inheritance from Duandong River, plus the sealing task in the world of Jin, should have all been beyond Sitting Mountain Guest's expectations. These accomplishments empowered him greatly. Teacher, said Luo Feng. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng. You created the flame god race and the earthlings, said Luo Feng. I never knew why you did that. I owe you so much, and I'll be forever grateful for you. If you want any help from me, I'll do anything to help you. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng and laughed. Look around, Luo Feng. Sitting Mountain Guest pointed around. Luo Feng looked around. The burning fire around this rugged boat was driven away by the cold. The fire was shaking as an invisible force enveloped the area. It was the force of the original mind. Apparently, the original mind had arrived and was angered by some of the things Sitting Mountain Guest had said, yet it couldn't do anything about it. The original mind has arrived. Some things I can say, but something is forbidden, which means even if I want to tell you, I am not allowed to do so. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng. Like in Universe Ocean, we can't talk about inheritance information above true gods. Luo Feng nodded. It's not that I don't want to tell you, but I can't tell you right now, whispered Sitting Mountain Guest. It has something to do with the ancient civilization, and it's about the biggest secret in Universe Ocean. I can only tell you when it is appropriate. When will it be appropriate? Asked Luo Feng. I'm very satisfied with your power now, but this is not the time yet. Sitting Mountain Guest shook his head. No need to ask, because I can't say, even if I want to. Luo Feng considered. The ancient civilization. The biggest secret in Universe Ocean. He had long speculated that Sitting Mountain Guest was related to the world of Jin. Then I'll just wait and see, said Luo Feng. Remember, said Sitting Mountain Guest. Don't underestimate the sector beasts. It's wise of you to send your Mosha body to the sector beast's nest. You haven't reached the peak of your power yet, but other true gods already have, and it's difficult for them to break through. Once you've become a true god, your power will surge again. Don't bet everything on it. You'll reach your peak when you become a true god. Luo Feng was shocked. According to his teacher, he wasn't able to kill those sector beasts yet. Go, said Sitting Mountain Guest. Remember, be careful. This is the fiercest war in Universe Ocean. Okay, said Luo Feng. He stood up, took a bow and left. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In Ancestral God Palace in the Ancestral God Secret Region, Luo Feng entered wearing a white cape. The guards didn't stop him, as they all knew who Luo Feng was. The three ancestral gods had said before that Milky Way Horde leader could enter at any time. Ancestral gods. Luo Feng walked into the palace, glanced around. The three ancestral gods sat on the thrones. After a trillion eras, the three ancestral gods from the Ancestral God School had already become true gods. After all, they were highly gifted, which was why they had been chosen to be ancestral gods, and besides, they were favored by the original mind. Now, many true gods were being born in the original universe, so it would be a joke if the three ancestral gods were still universe masters. I think the original mind knows my requirement now, said Luo Feng. Double-face ancestral god sighed. Requirement. We don't know what your requirement is, but the original mind is a bit upset now. Do you still stand by your requirement? Yes, Luo Feng nodded. Upset. That had nothing to do with him. The original mind had suppressed teacher origin, the entire human race was upset. As Sitting Mountain Guest had said, there was no need to be afraid of the original mind, as it had to follow certain rules, and it needed Luo Feng to get rid of the sector beasts. Actually, when his consciousness entered the universe origin, it would be as if he was becoming the original universe, experiencing the destruction and rebirth. It sounded mysterious, but Luo Feng wouldn't blindly believe everything Sitting Mountain Guest said. After all, he needed to make an avatar to enter the land of origin. Once the original universe started to destroy itself, it could easily kill Luo Feng by attacking the avatars and killing his soul. This requirement had some risks. Luo Feng had said yes firstly, because of one of the top 3 techniques of Duandong River, Undying River. After becoming a true god, he would complete Undying River and leave some blood behind as a backup plan. Even if he was attacked by the original universe and died, he could be resurrected. Of course, that was the worst-case scenario. That original mind needed to follow the rules, so if he didn't provoke it, he wouldn't be killed. Of course, if Luo Feng wanted to feel the birth and destruction of the original universe, he needed to wait until the end of the original universe. Only then would the original universe be destroyed and born again. It wouldn't destroy itself in advance, because of Luo Feng. Besides, Luo Feng hadn't become a true god yet, so he didn't wish for the original universe to be destroyed. Since you insist. The ancient ancestral god looked at Luo Feng down in the palace. Even though it is very demanding, if you, Milky Way Horde leader, are really able to kill all the sector beasts and protect the original universe from being harmed, the original mind will not only let teacher origin go, but consents to your requirement. Of course, your requirement can only be met when this universe era ends. Everything the original mind consents to is bound by the operation law, so it won't deceive you. The voice spread, followed by a blurry ancient ripple, enveloping the entire palace, so it was spread to Luo Feng as well. I trust you. Luo Feng nodded. Each of the 3 universe eras needed to choose a venture to go to the nest of sector beasts. It was extremely dangerous, so nobody was willing to go. Why did I have to go? Why couldn't he go? I would be the only last hope of my race, so if I died, my entire race would die. There were internal discussions and compromises that would take several years or longer to be completed. It was as Luo Feng had expected. Compared to a trillion eras, a few years was a blink of an eye, so there was no need to rush anything. While the powers in Universe Ocean were selecting who would go, Sector Beast Morosa left Tilted Peak Sector. This is Chaos Air. There's no rich Chaos Air like this in the nest. It's everywhere. A giant, golden man with a tail stood amid the Chaos Air. He wore ancient armor, and his body shape looked perfect. His bloody eyes glinted ferociously. The Sector Beast looked around. He had assumed a shape that was typical in Universe Ocean, and he had godly power, so everyone would think he was a great being from a certain race in Universe Ocean. Sector Beast Morosa opened his mouth, and all the chaos air flooded in. Suddenly, everything around him became a black hole, and the chaos air kept flooding into his body. It only stopped after a whole day. So pleasing. Although devouring other sector beasts is still better, I can devour this air at any time. Sector Beast Morosa was very satisfied. There was chaos air in Tilted Peak Sector, but it was too thin to be significant. It's too slow just swallowing this chaos air. Sector Beast Morosa took a step and started to teleport. It started to tour Universe Ocean. With the map provided by Zhenjiao Emperor and Dragon Rock Ancestral God, it wouldn't get lost. Besides, there was a strong connection among all the sector beasts, so even if it did get lost, it would seek out other sector beasts. After half a month of touring Universe Ocean, the golden, towering sector beast Morosa was slashing his tail, standing in space, staring at a giant miniature universe in front of him. It had a diameter of 100 million light-years. It was enormous. Oh. So delicious. Sector Beast Morosa's eyes gleamed with madness. He gazed at the miniature universe in front of him with his tail whipping. He was thrilled. I can actually feel the universe origin of this miniature universe. It will be so delicious. The sensation itself thrills me. Sector Beast Morosa was excited. It had eaten other sector beasts in the past, and the process was a fiesta. However, the smell of the universe origin in front him made him crave for more. It would be just as fantastic as eating other sector beasts. Eat! Eat! Sector Beast Morosa was yelling inside, but his brain maintained control. I can't believe the miniature universe is so delicious. According to the two slaves, there are many miniature universes, holy lands, and the original universe. I'm still very weak, and miniature universes have the weakest defense. I can swallow them much more quickly. It might take me a long time to swallow holy lands, followed by the original universe, but the origin of the original universe is limitless. This miniature universe belongs to an ordinary small universe from the first universe era, according to the map. That Milky Way Horde leader is the biggest threat. As for this true god, he's very mediocre. I'll take it as my first meal. Sector Beast Morosa thought for a while. He reckoned that the master of the miniature universe before him was weak, so he decided to swallow the miniature universe. Sector Beast Morosa was stood in the endless chaos space. The godly power previously emanating from his body had dissipated. Instead, the godly power had been replaced by waves upon waves of wicked black air. The waves of black air surrounded Sector Beast Morosa. Sector Beast Morosa was the center. There were traces of black light flowing around the sector, forming traces of curves, rushing toward the miniature universe in front of him. From the sector beast, traces of light mixed with black light shot out. They curved, extending toward the entire miniature universe. Originally, the previous traces of light were all visible. However, when they extended more than 100 million light-years long, they all gradually blurred and even disappeared, as if they had integrated with the space around them. Sector Beast Morosa's body trembled, and it closed its eyes, looking satisfied. Hua! 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 Traces of gleaming light were swiftly transmitted from 100 million light-years away along those curves and merged with the point of origin, Sector Beast Morosa. Ah, this is what the universe origin tastes like. So delicious. Sector Beast Morosa was thrilled. If Bay Di knew, it would rush here immediately. There are only a limited number of miniature universes, so it'll only take a short while to swallow them all. They'll definitely have time to go back to the nest. I'm so wise. I can't let them know about his. Otherwise, I'll have to share with them. Sector Beast Morosa was swallowing the miniature universe recklessly, and the colors of the light were more various than rainbows. They were all transmitted to the body of Sector Beast Morosa from 100 million light-years away. Swallow. 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 It kept swallowing the miniature universe. Morosa hated the fact that he was so weak. If he was able to swallow all the other sector beasts and become the last remaining king, it would be much faster than swallowing these miniature universes. Based on the information from the two slaves, this small universe belongs to Firefly True Master from the first universe era. He's only a mediocre true god in Universe Ocean, not one of the 8 supreme beings. Sector Beast Morosa understood that Firefly True Master would certainly realize that he was eating his universe origin. It would become weakened, and all the creatures in it would die. In the miniature universe, the Firefly clan wasn't as impressive as the Divine Eye clan, or the Skeleton clan, as they only had one true god. Inside the miniature universe where Firefly True Master and his race lived, there were many dimensions, and the core dimension housed lots of undying fighters, universe knights, universe masters, and the only true god, the supreme being of the Firefly clan, Firefly True Master. Inside the core dimension was the glowing ancestral palace where Firefly True Master lived. Firefly True Master occupied an area deep in the ancestral palace. He was deep in sleep, and in his state of unconsciousness, he was able to comprehend the laws as quickly as possible. It was silent in the ancestral palace, as nobody dared to bother him. Finally, Firefly True Master, who was covered in gray, opened his eyes. His hundreds of hoofs stood up, and so did his entire body. On each section of his body was a piece of gray armor. What is? Firefly True Master's face was covered with wrinkles. The soul eye in the midst of his wrinkles glinted with anxiety. This was something it had never felt before. The origin of the miniature universe. Firefly True Master immediately realized what had happened. The origin of the miniature universe, the origin that sustained the entire miniature universe, the origin that contained the core and the most mysterious power, was being steadily weakened, as if something was swallowing it. And it was being swallowed fast. However, the miniature universe was enormous. Although its origin was constantly being devoured, it was still able to last for 3 to 5 minutes. Yet it was being constantly swallowed, and at this speed, the origin would be sucked dry in the next 8 to 10 days. After that, his entire miniature universe would crumble. No. Definitely no. Firefly True Master was furious. Why is the origin of my miniature universe being consumed? Why? No true god has ever encountered something like this. Firefly True Master was suddenly dazed. He recalled that 1 trillion eras before, when the fourth land of extremists, the world of Jinn, had just appeared, the original mind had told everyone about the terrifying being known as the Sector Beast, through the 3 ancestral gods. They had mentioned that Sector Beasts would destroy and devour everything. Is it a Sector Beast? Firefly True Master was shocked. A Sector Beast is eating my small universe. Firefly True Master was truly terrified. Although he had many techniques and no true gods could be considered mediocre, he was only an average true god. He didn't even have a machine type valuable. He had left after spending millions of eras in the world of Jinn. Of course, He had obtained 3 supreme true treasures. Nobody has seen sector beasts in Universe Ocean yet. Am I the first target? Firefly True Master was worried. He then decided to sense carefully. The membrane of the miniature universe permeated the strength of the universe origin, and that strength immediately sensed the existence of another type of energy. That way. Firefly True Master turned around his head, looking to a direction, as if he could see the outside of the universe. Come in, all universe masters. Firefly Master yelled. His voice echoed in the ears of all universe masters from the Firefly race, and they all rushed toward the ancestral palace either by transportation or teleportation. After less than 10 seconds, all the universe masters had arrived, and they flew toward the palace. All the universe masters flew in. Ancestor. All 13 universe masters were respectful. They were the 13 universe masters who had entered the world of Jinn and had been through training in the world of Jinn. They had all left their original bodies or avatars in the small universe. At the start, all 13 universe masters had entered the world of Jinn, following most of the other powers in Universe Ocean, but by now, most of them had left. You must all know about sector beasts. Firefly True Master looked down. The universe masters from the Firefly race, who were standing in the palace, were all looking at each other. I don't have time to elaborate, but I suspect that the sector beasts have come out, and one of them is right outside the miniature universe of our race. It's devouring the origin of my miniature universe, said Firefly True Master anxiously. The news horrified all the universe masters. Firefly True Master gave a direct order: Control Dark, you have an energy body, and you're not afraid of soul attacks. Now, you send your body out of the miniature universe, and I'll escort you to the universe membrane. When you get there, you can just follow the direction I give you and teleport out. Inspect what is happening carefully. This concerns the fate of our race, so you must be careful. Okay, answered Control Dark Master, who stood down there. I am prepared to die trying. The other body of Control Dark Master, who was living elsewhere, was transported outside the universe membrane by Firefly True Master. That was where Firefly True Master sensed the strange energies coming from. Control Dark Master, who was dark with 2 purple antennae and covered with a shell, went out of the universe membrane, looking at the endless space outside. It then flew in a straight line along the direction specified by Firefly True Master. He teleported and inspected the area carefully. He teleported again and again, inspecting his surroundings again and again. Though there were many curves, the chaos space was massive and filled with chaos air, so it was impossible to see clearly over a long distance. I have a very strange feeling about this. Control Dark Master kept teleporting. He felt like he was being suffocated, as if he were entering another dark world. Little did he know that Sector Beast Morosa was performing its inherited techniques, and swallowing the origin, and the area around the Sector Beast was terrifying and suppressive. That direction. The stronger it got, the more easily Control Dark Master could decide on the direction. Finally, Control Dark Master, who was tiny and dark, showed up in out of nowhere. He looked in front of him and was able to see the curves connecting, all pointing toward the same spot. Each curve was gleaming, and all the bright light entered a common point. That is, Control Dark Master saw the spot in the distance. It was a towering, golden creature in humanoid form. It had a tail, and it was looking toward Control Dark Master with its bloody eyes. Fragile but delicious food, the creature said as it spotted Control Dark Master. Control Dark Master immediately confirmed, Ancestor is sensing the whole thing correctly. It is indeed swallowing the origin. It must be a sector beast. Control Dark Master wasn't afraid at all, as he had already prepared to die when he had decided to come here. Even if he lost this body, the greatest loss he could suffer was some energy. Suddenly, a black curve of light arrived and covered Control Dark Master. A powerful swallowing force penetrated Control Dark Master. No. Control Dark Master immediately burned his godly power, and performed the first level of godly power burning technique. However, it was completely swallowed after only a few seconds. "It's only a universe master, and it is too weak," said Sector Beast's Morosa. That so-called strongest great being in Universe Ocean, Milky Way Horde leader, is also only a universe master. Even if he's 100 times, or even 1,000 times stronger than this one, I can also kill him instantly. Perhaps the great beings in Universe Ocean are weaker than I thought. Sector Beast Morosa's eyes were gleaming with madness and greed. Inside the ancestral palace of the miniature universe. "Ancestor, it's indeed a Sector Beast at the end of your directions," said Control Dark Master. "The Sector Beast is enormous and has a tail. There are traces of light emanating from that Sector Beast, extending toward the space. I think the light is devouring the origin." My body was immediately swallowed by a trace of light, even though I burned my godly power to resist it. Firefly True Master was shocked. "A Sector Beast? It is here. We must tell all the races from Universe Ocean. I alone might not be able to resist it. Tell all the races in Universe Ocean that a Sector Beast showed up outside the miniature universe of Firefly race." He commanded his followers to tell all the true gods they could. "Yes, Ancestor." The universe masters all began spreading the news. This time, they needed help. This video will end here.